Have you ever started a project only to realize that you're in way over your head? I just started building a craft school, a project that is 39 times bigger than the last big project I took on, building a tiny house. The entire success or failure of this project depends completely on our ability to take 22 1,000-pound posts and set them in these holes, perfectly square, perfectly straight, and perfectly perfect.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
This is a massive project, one that I expected to have huge machines and a whole crew of people to help me build, but when we found ourselves in the middle of a pandemic, I had to call in some help of a different kind, and it showed up in the form of my farmer friend, Daniel Amick, who's built a bunch of big barns, and he told me we could do this whole thing with 3 people, a skid steer, and some string. I'm in this project for the long haul now, but to understand why I'm even putting myself through this, we need to rewind a little bit. 8 years ago, I picked up my first tool and planted my first seed. Back then, I didn't know how to do much of anything really, but I wanted to learn how to build the things that I needed. I wanted to learn how to fix things when they broke, and I wanted to learn how to grow my own food. What I have learned through a string of failures, peppered with a few successes, is that basically anything we want to learn is completely figure-outable, especially if we know the right person to call when we get stuck. Daniel has worked with me on the fly to make this project more affordable so that we can actually move forward with the build. And it's that skill level and confidence that gave me a whole lot of confidence in our ability to tackle this project together. And the day that I realized just how over my head I was in was the day that 5 semi-trucks brought the supplies that I'd purchased for this building from Seattle to Tennessee. Despite the absolute torrential downpour that was happening the entire time we were unloading, thankfully nothing got stuck, everything got off the trucks and arrived safely. Also quite surprising to me was the fact that I needed to get a huge machine to get the things off of the trucks and onto the build site, and someone who knew how the heck to operate the machine. My friend Daniel has built a ton of barns before, and when the pandemic shut the world down, he asked me what about this project was the most overwhelming and the most impossible seeming. And when you've got 4 farmers on a job site, the figure-outability of problems that are going to be faced grows exponentially because farmers are very good at coming up with life hacks. And that brings us back to the string. We have 22 posts that weigh 1,000 pounds each. We need to get them set perfectly because that's where the whole rest of the building will be able to happen. Picking up those posts, getting them where they need to be. Like literally the picking up is even crazy because they're so heavy. And I mean, if we're gonna do this with just a few of us and some farm hacks, how do we do that?
It all starts with a piece of string. You can literally use your string to go off of your existing building. You can square with your string. You can get your perimeters, and then you can set your post off of the string. So you have a batter board that you set up at 45 degrees to square.
Okay.
Or where you think square is going to be at.
Okay.
In this instance, we're squaring off of your existing shop. So we make our first string line off of that.
Okay.
And square it with the building. We'll always come back to that and know that that's square.
All right, so here are the outer edges of the building. Over there, over there. The string lines are pulled. The concrete for the post is over there. The boys are putting on the auger. Stuff is about to get real. I kind of figured for a building of this size, we would need lasers and like big equipment.
String is pretty fast, and it's something that you know where it's at. A laser, like it can get knocked over or bumped or whatever, and once you set your batter boards for the string, like they're there. Even if the donkey rubs on them, they're pretty, stable.
So how do we know where to dig the holes?
You set your first line from your building, so then you have one string line. You can set your posts according to that. Once you set 2 outside posts, you can set your other string lines coming off of that, and you can square, cross measure from one corner to the next corner, and then you basically have a square with string lines, and you can set all your posts according to that.
What are we doing?
Basically, we're pretending that we know how to make this square with all these strings and boards and things like that, and then we're going to get a tape measure and double check if we know what we're talking about.
If it looks square, it is square,
yeah,
right?
See, if it looks good on the mathematics there, it'll be fine.
Perfect. Daniel, what's going on?
All kinds of cool things. We are fixing to drill a hole, the first hole for the first post on the new shop.
Look at the size of this. So like, look at it next to me. Here we go, my friends, here we go! Even though we were using big equipment to drill these holes, it was still a 3-person job to drill every single hole because we needed to make sure the placement was absolutely perfect. We had to have one person watch and make sure that the hole was perfectly straight up and down so that the post wouldn't be crooked when we put the post in the ground. And we had to have someone moving dirt as the auger was drilling to make the drilling process go faster. Once the hole was drilled, we used sacked concrete to line the sides of the hole so it wouldn't collapse onto itself, and put a couple bags of concrete down into the bottom of the hole to give us a solid foundation to put the posts on. Then, one by one, painstakingly, we'd pick up a post with a skid steer, strap it on, walk it over, drop it in the hole, level it up, make it fit with the string lines, and then fill it in with dirt. All by hand, all one shovel at a time. And the craziest thing is that after all these posts were set, even with the crude methods we used to move these things around and to level them, each one of these posts is less than 1/8 of an inch different than the post next to it. That absolutely blows my mind. Basically, the first time in this project I felt like I was even remotely in my own wheelhouse was when I started cutting down lumber to support the posts. We'd secure the 2x4s up high on the posts to support them and then dig them down into the soil below so that they'd actually have a footing in the ground. Using those 2x4s also gave us a lot of extra leverage if we did need to move the post a little bit one way or another after the dirt was set. Doing this giant project with a small crew of guys has been really awesome for so many ways, but one of my favorites is that none of us are too good to do any of the work that needs to get done. Even though this is my project, being a farmer, I'm not afraid to put my shovel in some dirt and move it, and boy howdy has there been plenty of that to do. Also, with 4 farmers working in 100+ degree temperatures, you're gonna see a whole lot of really fun outfits in this build. Building things with other people is so special to me because it's about so much more than just the stuff that we are building. It's the figure out ability that comes when you have 2 heads tackling a problem instead of just one. It's the trauma bond that you form when things go horribly awry. We have had delay after delay, problem after problem. Barn Pros was kind enough to pack a torrential downpour into our building package when they sent it down from Seattle. Well, this is less than ideal. Especially considering what the weather forecast actually is. Then all that water delayed us for a couple weeks from being able to even start drilling.
Yeah.
We finally got the auger, we started drilling that first hole.
Boom. Auger
Hydraulic
breaks.
line breaks on the auger. Then we got a scissor lift when it came time to put the trusses on. This scissor lift broke like the first hour we were doing it. With a project this big, things are bound to go wrong.
Yeah, working through things that come up, that's part of the fun.
Daniel is the one who has the most building experience, and he's been taking the lead on making sure that everything gets done when and how it needs to. Of course, I would love to be able to hire a whole crew of people to be able to get this building done a whole lot faster and get back to building things that are within my wheelhouse. But something that has really struck me working with Daniel and Parker and Tim is that the very thing that I'm excited about happening inside this building is happening with us as we're building this building. We are moving huge things. We are working so hard. We are sweating together. We are toiling together. We're learning together, and we are building something that all of us will be able to stand back and be so proud of when we're done. Those kinds of bonds connect people for a lifetime, and that's exactly what I'm going for. I care a whole lot more about building community than building stuff, and that's why I've put everything that I have, every penny that I've earned over the last 8 years, working 3 jobs at times, into this project to build a place where other people like me will be able to learn how to grow in their self-confidence, grow in their knowledge base, but most importantly, grow their community. If you're interested in learning more about this building project, looking behind the scenes, or even getting a closer look at the plans for the building, make sure you head on over to my Squarespace website to check those out. I've been using Squarespace to host my website since 2012 when I started my business. Squarespace makes it super easy for people like me who are not super tech savvy to have beautiful artist-designed templates where they can take the things that they want to post online and drag and drop them into a beautiful, stunning website. If you have a gallery of photos you would like to host online to show to potential clients, or a few thoughts you'd like to put on a blog, or if you're like me and you need a blog, a place to sell merchandise that you have, a place to sell plans, and a place for people to find you online, Squarespace is the perfect option. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/AnnofAllTrades for a 10% discount. If you liked this video, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single step of this build. I will see you in the next video. Cheers! Oh my God, there's like a twin frog. Oh no, it's just two standing on top of each other. I hope you're recording. The sun will come out tomorrow, so pick up your chin and grin. That's not the words.
Do you want some shade?
I would love some. I just got stung by a bee.
You're gonna be okay.
I'm fine. Am I gonna be okay? We need to rewind a little bit. Have you ever, nope. Have you ever started a project? No. It's like an eagle attack going on. Okay. This property didn't have a shop on it. Oh my God. Whew. Okay. If you like this project and you want to, hello.